Hey, folks. Okay, so now we are set to learn about our fifth step on our journey in life and actually maturing into becoming a complete person, an adult. Um, and so we are in our first stage. There's three stages. The first stage on this path that we call life is a like a childhood path. It's where we're just starting to learn, understand a little bit about what's going on, um, and so that's where we are now. We are still in the first stage, and we are on the fifth step. And this fifth step is called understanding. Understanding. Okay, what is understanding? Well, if you remember, the last step was about commit, and that's committing our attention to our presence, to the truth that is within us. Okay, that you have imagined and you are about to talk with, right? And communicate with, all right? So this is communication leads to understanding. If you're prejudiced, you're not going to want to communicate with somebody because you already have a prejudiced view against them. So you're never going to be able to understand their points of view. You're just going to say, well, you're wrong, I'm right, and that's all I got to know. That's an infant's way of thinking. That's all ego. And isn't even in the first stage. It's the stage before that, which is really a stage of just primarily ego. Either a stage of I'm going to be all powerful, or a stage of woe is me, and I may as well just follow because I'm really not that important to think for myself anyway, so I may as well just follow. And either way, it's a feeling of dead. You actually do feel alone inside. You don't feel like there's anything there. And so, and in essence, you're not connected to any presence within yourself. And that's kind of like being dead. I know that from experience because I, at one time, felt as if I were in a pit of despair and had no idea how to get out of it until I heard the calling from within me saying, come out and I'll show you how. And that took 20 or more years to get to the point, all the way through to the point where I could share this with you. So the fifth step is understanding. Well, what are we trying to understand? What is it that you want more than anything right now? What is it that you want? Well, if you come from that place that I just talked about, what you really want is love. You want to be loved. You want to be nurtured. You want to be loved. Okay? Giving love, all right, will come later. All right, your job is not to give love because you have a well in here that's dry. And what we want to do is fill that well up so that you can outpour your love. All right, but right now, you don't have anything there to outpour. So don't think it is your responsibility to do that, because it's not. Your responsibility right now is to learn about how to do that and then actually start doing it. Start doing what? Start being with your presence in here, following it and being with it and going through this next stage in it. All right. And that still doesn't mean that all you're supposed to do is just give love. That's not the point. The point is that you are supposed to learn who you are in the second stage and discover what true love means from experience, and you going through that with your presence, which is unconditional love, and to really understand what that means. We'll get into that later, okay, in other videos. But right now it's understand. And so you're understanding what is unconditional love. If you've never had unconditional love, then how are you going to really know what unconditional love is? You can have an idea of what you think unconditional love should be. And that is what you are going to communicate with your spirit or your presence within. Okay, so say, I don't understand what unconditional love is. Please tell me what unconditional love is. Okay, and that's what the understanding is. So no matter what you are looking for, if it's not love, it could be anything in life. You need to understand. You may have a prejudiced view against it. For instance, if somebody said, just today, never had Brussels sprouts, but I've always heard that Brussels sprouts were like that. Well, I decided to have some Brussels sprouts today with someone, and I really liked it. It was really good. So, you see, I may have had a prejudiced view against Brussels sprouts, but I've never tried Brussels sprouts. So should I never try them? Just because I've heard from other people, don't even bother? No. To understand. Now, somebody says, okay, well, those are poisonous. Don't touch them or don't eat them. Okay, fine. Don't do that. I mean, go ahead and research. Try to understand why they're poisonous, or if they're really poisonous, or whatever. But you gotta know the facts. And understanding that fifth step is all about researching and learning and being educated on the facts. Prejudiced views are never totally factual. There may be a little bit of truth in there, but then it becomes exaggerated by people. And what you need to do is get to the source again and find what is the fact about that. So what is the fact when it comes to unconditional love? We'll ask the presence that's within you, and it's called unconditional love. All right? Don't mind all the other things that are coming in saying, don't do that. Oh, I wouldn't do that. Don't do, all this other stuff and the experiences you had in that other world when you were younger and all that, saying, oh, you better not do this. That all comes from fear. And sometimes you feel more comfortable. You think you're going to feel more comfortable. You just go back to that because at least you know the rules and everything. But then you find out that you're miserable again and you can't stand it anymore. And so what do? And then you get down on yourself more, like, well, I'm a failure, I couldn't go through it, and all that. Again, that's all fear talking. That's all fear-based talking. So you become mindful on that which is your presence, the unconditional love. And you say, okay, I'm going to be open and objective. Go away, because I'm only going to pay attention and listen to my unconditional loving presence. And we're going to talk about what is true unconditional love. Okay? What is true unconditional love? And that's what understanding is. Okay? And your unconditional loving presence is unconditional love itself. It can't be nothing more or nothing less than it, because that's what it is. It is unconditionally loving no matter what. It cannot change, because it knows who it is, and that is what it is, and it's not going to change. Unconditional love is unconditional love. Now, it may, the love, unconditional love won't change, but it may change its form, or its, it may change its form, let's say, okay, for you, because it knows you and it loves you, and it may draw itself more towards you as you draw towards it, okay, because that's how much it loves you. It's not going to just stay here elevated on a pedestal and say, you must come to me, and then when you get to me, but you can't get you, I'm going to make sure that you don't get all the way to me, because I am greater. That's not unconditional love. That's conditional love, that allows you to get so close, but you can never get equal to it. That's conditional love. Unconditional love is where it not only wants you to come meet it, but it will, in fact, lower itself to meet you. That's called being humble and humility, and that's how much it loves you. You'll know that firsthand later on. Okay, but right now you need to understand what unconditional love is. So that's what I want you to do. And if your presence says, okay, this is where I want you to go. Maybe it wants you to get a book. Maybe it wants you to, but what's going to put you on is a path of research, understanding. Get the facts. Get the facts. Get the facts. Get the fact before you act. Get the fact before you act. Acting is a couple of steps later, but this step is getting the fact. Okay, and so that's understanding. All right, so that's the fifth step. Okay, I hope that makes sense. If not, leave comments below, and I'll answer any questions you may have to clarify. But I'll see you in the next video, and we'll talk about the sixth step, which is the last step in stage 1. Okay? Bye. Love you.